sure nobody's going to be too excited about it. But we'll see how it goes with Rampage. Interesting fight. Both, really good chins and both hit hard.
What does that mean for Glover? I mean, there's nobody wanting to fight him. Does that mean he kind of gets a fast track sort of to a #1 contender type of fight since trying to kind of avoid him?
People are going to have to fight him. You know what I mean? It's you can use the excuse, listen, nobody knows who he is, it's not. After the Rampage fight, if he beats Rampage, it's going to be tough to say that.
How much input are you going to have, with the fans on Saturday night? Obviously, the one that wins the most impressively is the one that gets the title shot out of this. I mean, is that going to be you solely making that call, or are you going to be on Twitter? What do you guys think?
No, I mean, hopefully it's so blatantly obvious that it's not even, or it's a tough choice. That would be the best case scenario. It's tough to pick.
Is there any thought that the winner would fight Alexander Gustafsson since he was also a top contender for the heavyweight division?
That the winner would?
Yes.
The winner gets the title shot. Yeah.
They both said that they're interested in coaching for Brazil, and both said that they're interested in the trilogy fight to decide who is the #1 contender fight. So you still think no matter what, any one of these guys can face Jones instead?
Yeah, one of them fight Jones.
What about Gustafsson? His name is being mentioned a lot this week. Why isn't that guy?
I like it. Good.
Yeah. Do you have anything lined up for him yet? And why is he not in consideration?
Yeah, I think he needs a big fight now. He fought the Silva fight, great fight. Now he needs to fight with one of these top guys.
Is there anything for him yet, or are you still kind of waiting to see it shake out?
Somebody like Brandon Vera, obviously you have had your problems with him in the past. The negotiation problems.
No, that's not true. There was never any negotiation problem with Brandon Vera. What happened was him and his management had a falling out, and it turned into a huge lawsuit that put him on the sidelines for a long time. Yeah, it never had anything to do with the UFC.
That was kind of the narrative that everybody thought was that it was a money thing.
No, not even close. We never had any beef with Brandon Vera. When Brandon, I tried to get him on the Ultimate Fighter, and he was like, yeah, fuck that, I'm not doing that show. I'm going to be the light heavyweight champion, and then I'm going to move up to the heavyweight. I'm ready to fight now. I don't want to do that show.
Was that the original Ultimate Fighter?
No, I don't remember what season it was, but yeah. And then he got into a huge beef with his management, and it turned into a huge lawsuit. It had nothing to do with me in the UFC.
Why did his career, tank so much? At night in 2006, that came to the next round.
Dude, it's weird. It's like as soon as he got into that huge management lawsuit, it was very weird how that whole thing went down. When he finally came out of armor, he wasn't the same.
He had a big ego. Overconfident.
I don't think he was overconfident. He was talented. Listen, this is a sport that you better be fucking confident. You better be, call it cocky if you want to, but well, I don't know how good I am. I think I'm okay. We'll see how I do on Saturday. I mean, if you were hearing that kind of shit, you might want to go out and get another job. You might not want to be fighting here.
One of the big stories this week is Ed Soros and Anderson's management basically said we have no interest in fighting Chris Weidman. We don't think he's getting enough lane. He hasn't really paid his dues in the UFC. Is that a fight that you think Chris needs more seasoning, or do you think that he's ready for Anderson Silva?
Well, I think that's the same stuff they said about Chael Sonnen too. You know what I mean? They weren't going to do that fight either. This is what they do every time a fight's over. They start talking about who they won't fight and who they might fight. Nick Diaz makes no sense. Okay? I know that sounds fun. Yeah, throw Nick Diaz in there. If you really look at the thing, Nick Diaz just lost to Condit. You know what I mean? At 170. So that gives him the opportunity to move up to 85 and fight the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. In what fucking universe does that make sense?
But you said fans do get excited about it. You want to put the fights that fans want to see. So I guess there's a limit on that?
George St. Pierre and Anderson Silva are both considered, and most people argue, I think that I think finally, especially with the inactivity from GSP, that people now consider Anderson Silva the pound for pound. But there was an argument there for a long time. And if GSP hadn't been this inactive, maybe the debate would still be there. But he's definitely 2 or 3 in the world, depending on who you ask. And if you were really going to make a fight like that, it would make more sense with George St. Pierre than it would with Diaz.
So if he gets by Condit, is that something, how serious are we? Is this just theoretical talking, or are we serious?
It's always theoretical. You don't know what's going to happen. You see what happens in the future here, and maybe that is the fight we're going to make. I can tell you this, not theoretically, Anderson is not going to happen. That's just ridiculous.
You look at Anderson Silva, he may have limited time left on his career. Do you look from a promoter standpoint, you just want to see him in those final super fights, like maybe Anderson Silva versus JDS? I'd like to see that as a fan. Or John Jones.
JDS?
Yeah, why not have him go up to heavyweight?
I just don't, because I don't think he's got the frame for heavyweight. I mean, the guy makes 85 easily. 205? Fight at 205, but he chooses not to. He doesn't like to fight at 205 for some reason. He doesn't want to do it.
Do you think the fans would rather see GSP and Anderson or John Jones and Anderson? It seems like more people want John Jones.
I think they want both. I think they'd love to have both.
Why do they say they won't fight each other? You know what the genesis of that is? Why they both say they don't want to fight each other?
Dude, how many times have I been sitting here in front of you guys with a bunch of guys that said they won't fight each other? You're in the fucking fight business. You're gonna fight.
Do you think they'll stop? You will not make the fight for Anderson until GSP's fight is done, just so you can have the opportunity to have it.
That is, no, that's what we're thinking. Yeah. But anything can happen, you know what I mean? You could end up fighting or not fight. You know, we'll see what happens. But it's, like you said, it's all theoretical. People have to win first. GSP's got to come out and beat Condit. And, you know, because people love Diaz so much, you know, or love to hate Diaz so much, whatever it is, whatever side they're on. You know, Carlos Condit won that fight. And Carlos Condit is no pushover. He's a tough guy. It's going to be a tough fight for George, especially coming off the injury, inactivity, et cetera, et cetera.
Dana, Cesar Gracie said he's meeting with you next week.
True.
Okay. About what?
About Nate Diaz.
Nate Diaz.
Yes. Caesar and I are meeting about Nate Diaz.
What about Nate Diaz?
We're re-signing him.
Okay. He also mentioned that he's going to try to convince you to let Nick fight overseas. Are you open?
He would have a better chance of convincing me, I don't know, to get hair plugs.
Is Nate Diaz still, I guess part of this negotiation or discussion next week will be that he will fight the winner of next week's title fight? Is that still the plan?
What's that?
Next week, Frankie Edgar, Ben Henderson. Is
Yep.
Nate Diaz still
Yeah.
the guy who's going to fight? Is that part of the...
Yep.
So where you know, you have the four guys, they're all fighting basically for a title shot. Where does Rashad Evans fall in this entire thing?
Rashad? Yeah. I don't know. I personally haven't talked to Rashad. You know, I've heard the talks of him wanting to go to 85 or possibly going to 85. So I don't know. If he did, he'd have to fight somebody. Maybe you do Rashad versus Weidman, and the winner of that gets a shot. You know what I mean? Just came off the top of my head. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying.
When would you like to see Anderson back in action?
I'd love him to fight before the end of the year, but he wants to wait. He wants to fight after the first of the year.
I think I kind of ragging on Hector Lombard earlier. You kind of gave him a free pass, it seems like, the other day. Have you talked to Hector at all, or since that fight?
I haven't talked to him, no. I haven't talked to him at all. Who did I give a free pass to?
Well, in Canada, it seemed like you didn't really dog on him as much as maybe you could have, as much as the fans kind of jumped on him.
But you know what? He came in. This happens all the time. When guys are in other organizations, they get ranked way up here, and this guy, you know, and it's the same story when guys first come into the UFC. You know, whatever it is, if it's the jitters or the freeze or, you know, he didn't fight like he had fought. But you're fighting at a whole different level here, you know. And I think to rag on him would discredit Bosch. I mean, Bosch went in there and fought his ass off. The guy broke his foot, and you know, the fight wasn't the exciting fight we thought it was going to be. But you know, both those guys came out banged up. I think after the fight, if you saw my video blog, Lombard thought he had a broken nose, but he had like a fractured sternum. You know what I mean? So those guys were banging. You know, they were hitting hard when they were hitting. But yeah, I'm not going to smash that hard. It's happened to everybody who's coming to the UFC.
What do you think about Rockhold talking about possibly fighting one of the UFC guys, maybe a Tim Boach, even? Since you guys have, you know, made it possible for Frank Mir to go into this fight.
I mean, anything's possible. We're not thinking about that, but I wouldn't say no to anything.
Any updates on Junior and Kane? We got fights happening. We want to talk about it.
No, I don't know. It's happening though.
Yeah, what's the issue? Junior's nursing an injury? Is that the issue, or why is it not known?
One of them had some kind of an injury, an elbow or shoulder or something. Nothing major, but something that needed, you know, therapy.
that was at least brought up.
No, they never asked us.
Have you talked about taking a fight to Mexico? There's so many top Mexican Americans.
We want to go there so bad, but
You do.
it just hasn't worked out. You've been hearing me talk about that forever.
Yeah.
And there's been so many times with so many places that we're really close to doing. We're right there, and it just falls apart and didn't happen.
So it's just not close yet at all.
What's that?
It's not close yet right now.
No.
So next week you have the lightweight title and the co-main event, Donald Cerrone and Melvin Guillard.
I'm excited for that fight.
Now, obviously, if Edgar beats Henderson, would you do a trilogy with them, or is it let's get the lightweight title moving again?
We'd have to get it moving again. It's the unfortunate position that Ben is in. You know what I mean? Ben stepped up and takes the rematch with Frankie, which I didn't want it to happen, but Frankie came to me a million times. This guy's always stepped up and always been there for us, and I felt obligated to return the favor. So Ben accepted, and of course now, if Ben loses in that fight, he gets back in line, you know what I mean? So definitely some pressure on Henderson for that fight.
So where does Donald and Melvin sit in some entire situation?
I'm excited for that fight. I love that fight. I love watching both of those guys fight, and it should be explosive. I don't see that one going the distance, but who knows?
Can you break down that fight?
You know what, man? Like I said, they're both explosive. Melvin Guillard can knock it. Melvin Guillard is one of these guys that should have been a champion already. He's nutty in the head. Over the last several years, he's been with good camps that have settled him down personally. Got his ass in the gym, got him working on things he needs to, but I think that kid has had and still has so much potential. He can knock you out, you can go to the ground, you can wrestle, he gets submitted, he's got submission defense, he's a submission fighter, but I don't know, I'd love to see that fight stand up. I'd love to see those guys stand up and bang it out, but who knows.
And also the main event as well. The main event for next week.
I think the main event is going to be the exact same fight the last one was. I mean, both guys go 100 miles an hour. I think that I know how Frankie is. I know the way that this kid's built and the way that he's going to go after it. He knows this is his last shot. I think it's going to be a great fight.
And then will Frankie cut down if he does lose?
Huh?
Will Frankie cut down if he does lose?
I think he should have cut down already. Who knows? He doesn't listen to me. He should. We'll see what happens.
One of the guys on the main card tomorrow is he's been out for a while. He's been with you since did you guys ever at any point think of ever going to make it back?
Yeah, Swick was out for some. We started calling him Mr. Glass around the office. He's getting hurt every time he would train for a fight. I love Mike Swick. He's one of the originals from season 1 of The Ultimate Fighter. He's one of the greatest guys you can meet. He's a hard worker. And he battled this. I don't know if it's a disease or whatever it is that he had. I've never even heard of the thing before, but he battled it. He overcame it. And it's not Saturday yet, but hopefully he doesn't get hurt between now and Saturday. But it's good to have him back. I'm excited to have him back, and I'm excited for that fight too. I love that you guys didn't see this yet, but in the vignette for these two on Fox, DeMarcus says. He goes, there's a 50% chance I'm going to win this fight. There's a 100% chance somebody's getting knocked out. I love that. I love that line.
Do you have any thoughts on BJ Penn, Roy McDonald, they've been in Twitter and news, all this talk with VADA and voluntary testing and all that stuff. Do you have any thoughts on that? I mean, can you allow them to go through with that? And do you think this is a good thing or a bad thing?
It's just stupid. You got guys like BJ and Big Country and guys like that are always out there talking all this smack. The Nevada State Athletic Commission does the drug testing. They do the drug testing. Wada, dada, whatever. Nevada does it, or California, or wherever we are.
These guys are saying that they're signed up for a deal and they're going to do it. It's going to be done.
BJ wants to go drug test every friggin' 2 days or whatever he wants. Good for him. Knock yourself out.
So you won't stand in the way of those two guys participating?
I don't think both guys are going to participate.
Roy says he is.
Yeah? Whatever. That's their business.
Now, the Fox shows seem to be you're finally touching your stride. You're using them to build #1 contenders. Is this what you feel the purpose of the Fox deal is going to be? Is building #1 contenders for the title shots for those divisions?
Yeah. The guys that fighting on Fox are guys who are in line for title shots.
Will you be at Ronda Rousey's fight? You're a big supporter of her. Will you?
Huge Ronda Rousey fan. When is it?
August 18th.
August 18th. It depends on where I'm. But yeah, I want to go.
It's in San Diego. That's
No, I know. I knew where it was. I just didn't know when. But yeah, I want to go. If I'm in town and I'm not somewhere else, I will be there for San Diego.
Speaking of Strikeforce, what's going on with Barnett?
Barnett's healing. He was hurt in that fight, and when he's ready to go, we'll find him a fight.
Speaking of women's MMA, have you heard about this Invicta group, the all-female group?
Yeah, it's all women's fighting.
Yeah. Pretty awesome show. Does that at least start to make you think that it is a little deeper than?
No, I think it's a great thing because I think the fact that there is a women's show and it's happening consistently, that you will get women that will start training, and you have to be able to make money. If women can make money, build their records, just like smaller MMA shows, that happen all over the world. The more girls that continue to fight, continue to make money, and build records, the deeper the divisions will get.
I'm sure you sent Shannon, the CEO of the organization, sort of a bouquet or something before her first show to wish her good luck.
I did.
That was nice.
Nice, sweet one, huh?
So if they do continue to develop, and this does become a good thing that it sticks around and women are developing and they're getting better. I mean, can you reevaluate your position?
Yeah, I love it. My position is there's not enough good women out there. You got Ronda Rousey, you got Miesha Tate, and then we'll see what everybody else has got. You know what I mean?
But 10 years from now, 20 years from now, if it's developing, then that could be a potential in the UFC.
Yeah, absolutely.
Danny, when you mentioned the women, you never mentioned. I'm not sure if there's a reason for this. Sarah Cochran.
I don't know enough. I don't pay attention or focus on the women's at all.
She beat Miesha.
Yeah, I don't focus on it. I know a couple here, a couple there. I know two. A couple there. I know two.
Dana, boxing promoters, they go to London and they watch all the boxing action just so they can try to bring these guys into the loop. What kind of scouting at all do you do for judo or taekwondo?
You really don't do that. No.
You don't have to try to get your.
Yeah, it's not like this is a judo company. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we're out there looking for. And if somebody wins the Olympics in wrestling or judo or whatever it might be, they have to train their ass off in mixed martial arts because it's completely different. But like I said in the press conference, I would love to see some of these Olympians, start trying to compete in mixed martial arts. It would be awesome.
But then the fans brought up weight classes today. A couple weeks back, you dropped the bomb that 115 would be something you look at. Now, were you just talking theoretical, or do you see that happening?
It'll happen.
How soon do you think we're going to see an introduction?
I don't know, man. We're going into Asia, Mexico, going to South America, and traditionally they're all smaller guys. So,
near future?
It's going to make, our first event in China is going to be in November, and you know how it happens, man. After we put on an event, it explodes and people start training. India too. I mean, you're going to see talent in those lighter-weight divisions.
Well, Chris Leben was in Sweden a month ago. He was doing really good. Do you know when he's coming back?
I don't, no, but he's another one too, man.
Who you think he should fight?
I love Leben too. He's a warrior. He always brings it, and I'm happy that he's got his stuff together again. And I want to see that kid do well. And when he walks away from this sport, I want to see him walk away with his gym, his business that he has, some money in the bank, a house paid off. You know what I mean? All the things that he contributed a lot to this company. Season 1 of The Ultimate Fighter, when the whole blow up with him and Koscheck and Bobby Southworth happened, 2.3 million people tuned into that 5th episode or 6th episode, whatever it was, which was astronomical numbers at that time for that network and for our first time ever on television. And Leben has put on some awesome fights in this company, and I respect him, and I care about him, and I want to see him do well.
Because the suspension goes out in November. Do you think he will fight you in this year?
I don't know. We'll see.
How is the filming for the upcoming season of UK versus Australia going so far?
It's going really well. Things are going good there. The fights to get into the house Monday for the show here were awesome. I swear to God, you guys, I swear to God, I'm sitting there watching these fights, right? Great fights. Yeah, there were a couple of fucking wrestling matches and shit. But they were, for the most part, most of them were really good. There's a couple guys. There was one guy in there. You know, the fight didn't last long, but holy shit, the way that this fight went down and this guy's attitude and the way that the whole thing happened. And I said, you know, because I knew we were going to start talking about Tough here pretty soon, and I'm like, I'm not going to go out there. I'm not going to tell the media, wait till you see this, see it. Every fucking season, it's like 17 seasons I've been saying it. You just have to watch and see.
Will that be on Fuel or FX?
FX.
When are you going to release the names of the cast?
I have no idea. I don't know. When it gets closer, I'm sure.
Can we get a date on Anaheim as well?
Huh?
Date on Anaheim?
You're checking
Sometime next year.
early next year? Like probably January?
Early next year.
There.
Come on, man. Convincing to take Frank Mir to go to Frank Mir's court?
Say that again?
How much convincing did it take you to get Mir to take the Cormier?
Not much. It makes all the sense in the world when you really think about it. Mir just lost, right? He has, I mean, who's had more title shots for the heavyweight division in the UFC than Frank Mir, right? This guy's been with the company for 11 years. He's been fighting in the UFC for 11 years, as long as we've existed, you know what I mean? And for him to get the opportunity to go fight Cormier, and Cormier to have the opportunity to fight Mir, it really does make sense. Cormier smokes Mir, or the other way around. Good stuff.
Obviously, Strikeforce isn't your baby, but is that a title fight? Do you know? Is there any kind of title on the line, or
yeah?
Is it a heavyweight title fight for Strikeforce?
Dissolved it, I thought. I thought I heard they just dissolved the belts.
There you go. I don't know, but it should be a title fight. As far as I know, it's a title fight.
5-rounder.
And it should be.
Or will it be? It won't be a 5-rounder, actually.
He won the tournament. He's their heavyweight champion. Whether he's there for 1 fight or 10 fights, he's their guy.
So
this should be a title fight for the Strikeforce.
Because
yeah,
right now is a co-main event, maybe.
No, it's going to be a main event.
Yeah, hell yeah, it's a main event. It's.
Was Tim Sylvia considered before Frank Mir came along?
No, he was never considered by me or Lorenzo.
Can you ever see him coming back to the UFC?
The only way that if Tim Sylvia went out and beat somebody, that it would make sense for him to come back to the UFC, and yeah. You know, I keep hearing stuff, he's won 5 in a row, he's won however many in a row, whoever knows, I don't know. But who does he beat? You know? If he beat somebody that was worthy of him coming back, then yeah.
You don't have anything personal against him?
No. Listen, are me and Tim Sylvia best friends? Do we hang out on weekends? And, you know, no, but I have that relationship with other guys, too, that fight in the company, you know?
What's going on with Matt Hughes? Because there's rumors that he retired, and then there's rumors that he was going to come back for maybe one more fight. And we keep saying that he's going to be, that he shows up in the office and you guys talk. What's going on with that?
Yeah, it's what we keep doing. We keep talking. Hughes is one of these guys that I absolutely positively want Matt Hughes to retire. I mean, what else is there to accomplish? The guy's done everything. He's been a staple in this, you know, organization for a long time. He's been fucking awesome. There's nothing left to prove, you know, but it's so hard for these guys to say, I'm retired. So hard. The same thing with Chuck. Going through it with Matt. I would like Forrest to retire.
Really?
Yeah, I would like Forrest to retire. Nothing left for Forrest to prove it either. He won the Ultimate Fighter. He's had an amazing career. He won the title when people thought he couldn't. He became a huge star. He made shitloads of money. He's got a beautiful wife. He's got a baby. You know, if you don't want to be a world champion and you're still not in the mix, like I call it, why? What's the point? I get it. I get it. It's hard to walk away from walking into the arena with the big crowds and all the shit, but it just there's a point in time when it's just like, you've done your thing, man. You've had an amazing career. You've done great things. There's nothing left to prove.
Have you conveyed that to Forrest? Or?
Yeah, he don't like hearing it. He don't want to hear me.
You know, where do they film the UK versus Australia stuff?
Where did they film it?
Yeah.
It's in Sydney.
So have you been going back and forth?
I went there. I started it, and I'll go back there one more time before it finishes.
Will the finale also be in Sydney?
Yes.
Now, just speaking of Forrest, is maybe if he doesn't retire, and would you maybe close out that trilogy, close the door with him and Stephan Bonner as maybe being top coaches, and then having them fight at the finale and just closing that door in that chapter?
Have you talked about
about this going against the Olympics, and it's a challenge. I mean, is that frustrating to you, or is that like, okay, Fox, wants us to be the thing that goes up against them?
Yeah, no, it is what it is. You know what I mean? The Olympics, it's funny. When we were talking about, the Olympics gone, I'm like, people really watch the Olympics? I mean, come on. Oops. People watch the Olympics.
And could you have pushed it back though, or do you then come up against preseason football?
Yeah. Listen, when you that's what a lot of people don't realize. Not only pay-per-view dates, but television dates. You're always going up against something, And if it's not on television, it's a movie, or it's this, or it's that. Anything that grabs the attention of 18 to 34-year-old males is our competition.
Dana, did you see BJ Penn during UFC 148 weekend?
I saw him for like a second backstage at the expo.
Some less than flattering pictures of him showed up on the internet that lead people to believe that he's not taking his comeback seriously. I just wondered if you have any thoughts on that. He looked a little chubby.
Right. Well, if you look at BJ Penn's career, right, count how many times he was in phenomenal shape. I love BJ. BJ's been a huge star for us for a long time, but I think BJ could have been, he could be up there in the talks with who's the greatest of all time. You know what I mean? I've said it for years about BJ. BJ is fucking tough as nails, has an unbelievable chin, a rock head. I mean, if you look at some of the fights that he's had where he's on the bottom and he's getting smashed, the guy doesn't cut. His skin is like, I don't know what his skin's made out of. You know what I mean? He doesn't cut. He's just this kid that was born and built to fight. And he's crazy like that. BJ's crazy like that. He'll come in and fight. He won't take the fight. The big beef with me and him during the George St. Pierre primetime. Remember? When I said, the guy's not doing anything, he's blowing off his training, he's doing this and that, and he got all upset about it, And he'll be all upset about this now too. That he asked me this and I said that.
Is he a Hall of Famer?
He's absolutely a Hall of Famer. BJ? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, BJ has been, not only at the time when people were saying that the 55-pounders couldn't headline, pay-per-view events and all this other stuff, BJ Penn became a huge star. Huge star. Yep.
Who's next for the Hall of Fame?
I have no idea.
I mean, it seems like, talking about the Hall of Fame, you're going to have a lot of these guys coming in like Nogueira, Vanderlei Silva, BJ. I mean, is that something like you may need to start having a physical location for fans to actually visit to see these?
Well, right now it's the Ultimate Fighter gym. Is basically where we do the Hall of Fame. They're all up on the wall in there, and that place actually, that building. Some of you've been there, and others that have been there. It really is like a museum. As you walk through, we have all the jerseys and pictures of the guys from season 1. And all the pictures of them, what they look like when they started, and the season 1 guys are so young. Yeah, they're all signed, and it really has become sort of a museum.
Any chance to open up to the public so the UFC faithful can visit it?
Yeah, maybe one of these times during the fan expo, we would open that thing up and maybe do an autograph signing or do something cool over there.